This is not a regular cream puff. This is a fully fermented sourdough cream puff, and it is delicious. If you've never had a sourdough cream puff before, you are in for a treat. This is made with a sourdough choux pastry. It's made with active sourdough starter, and it is fully fermented, and I think you're gonna love it. Cream puffs can sometimes come out flat, or they can come out hard. That's not these cream puffs, okay? I've given you all of the steps. I'm gonna show you all of the steps so that you can make these beautiful fully fermented cream puffs. They're gonna be delicious. You're gonna love them. We're ready to start making our sourdough cream puffs. I printed off the recipe from my website, so you can go and get the full recipe. All of the details are there, amybakesbread.com. These sourdough cream puffs. I am using a kitchen scale. I love to weigh all of my ingredients, especially with baking. Just makes it much easier, but I do also include the cup measurements if you aren't as familiar with the weight measurements. All right, I tare my scale to start. That just brings it to 0, and I'm using grams. So we're gonna put our saucepan right on the scale. I'm going to tare it again so it gets to 0, and then I'm gonna pour in 240 grams, it's about a cup, of this active sourdough starter. What we're doing here is we're actually going to be making a choux pastry, and typically that pastry is made by mixing together milk or water and butter, sugar, salt, warming that up on a stove, and then you add in the flour. Well, in this case, we're using our fermented sourdough starter, so we actually have this fully fermented cream puff, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to mix this all together on the stove, so it looks a little bit different, but you end up with that same ball of dough at the end, and that's how you get that fermented cream puff. Okay, I've got my starter in here. I'm going to tare my scale again, and we'll add in our butter, which I've already melted. I made these once and completely forgot to add the butter. Don't do that. They turned out a lot more dry and not as luscious and fluffy and delicious. Okay, I'm tearing my scale again. We're gonna add in our milk. Then a little bit of sugar. And just a pinch of salt. The exact measurements are all in that recipe card. And then we're gonna mix this up. Now you could mix this just in a regular bowl if you wanted to. If you didn't want to do it right in the saucepan. I just always have so many bowls that I need to wash. So this is just easier for me to do it all in the saucepan. You're gonna get this nice and thick kind of batter. You just wanna make sure that everything is fully combined in here. And then we're gonna put it over the stove and continuously whisk it as we've got it over a medium-low heat. You're gonna see the magic that happens when we do that. So after this is all mixed together, we're gonna stick it on the stove top. So I'm gonna turn it on to like a medium high, medium low, depends on medium heat. You do not want to kind of keep this out of your sight. You're going to want to be stirring it the entire time that it is on, because it's going to start forming a ball of dough. But as it forms that ball, okay, it can stick to the bottom of the pan. And so you've got to keep whisking it so that it doesn't burn. So you're gonna see as it goes what it's gonna look like, but I'll show you. A typical choux pastry, you add in like the butter, the liquid, and let that melt, and then you add in the flour. Well, this is already fermented flour. So we add it all together, and then we're cooking it on the stove until it forms a ball. You might think, what am I doing? This is not gonna work. Trust me, I've done this many times. It will work. Just keep stirring. About halfway through, I switched to a spoon so that I can just get all of the things on the bottom. See this that's starting to come up there? Okay, that's basically what all of this liquid is gonna turn into. It's forming on the bottom, which is why you have to keep stirring it. It's pretty fun to watch this come together. So right now it just looks like I have chunks in here. But that is soon going to solidify all into one big massive dough. Just keep scraping with your spoon on the bottom. Okay, it's really starting to come together now. You don't want to stop here. There's too much liquid in this at this point. We're still wanting this to form more of a ball. Just keep going. See how this is all coming together? Just like a regular choux pastry would. Okay, once it reaches this point where it is all formed together into this ball, we're gonna remove this now from the heat. I'm dumping the dough into just a mixing bowl to cool down. While this cools, I am going to mix up my egg that we are going to put into this pastry. I've made this recipe quite a few times and have found that for about 460 grams of dough, which is what I ended up with there, I need around 160 grams of egg for these cream puffs. That's about 3 eggs, but it could be a little bit more than 3, a little less than 3. So you may need to add, like I need to add a little bit of extra egg to this. So you're gonna need anywhere from 3 to 4 eggs, but I like about 160 grams of egg. So now I have 200 grams here. I'm gonna pour out 40 grams of egg. So I've got exactly 160 here that I'm gonna be putting into my pastry. This I will save in the fridge and make some scrambled eggs for breakfast tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna make the rest of this pastry now. This has been sitting maybe 10 minutes and I'm just gonna come in here and whip it up a little bit to release a little more steam, and then we're gonna add the egg a little bit at a time. Our goal here is to get a pastry that is thick enough to pipe, but also a little bit thinner than what it is now. And so you're gonna watch this transform. One way that you can tell is that when we pull the pastry up out of the bowl, it's gonna form like a little V here. So watch how that works. Okay, do you see how beautiful this is right now? We just have a little bit of egg left that we're gonna be adding in here. We're adding the egg a little bit at a time. That just helps it to incorporate well and so that you don't over egg your batter. Last bit of egg going in. Okay, here's the batter. If I pull it up, do you see that V that happens there? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so it is going to be thick enough to pipe well and hold a shape, but still thin enough so you get light and crispy, airy shells. I'm going to put it in a bag. You can use a Ziploc bag. I buy these piping bags, like a whole bunch of them on Amazon, and it's a great deal. So I'm going to go ahead and stick a piping tip in here. You don't have to use a piping tip. I like to use them if I have them. And cut it so that I'm gonna be able to pipe out of here. I have a pan that I've lined with parchment paper, and we're gonna put this batter right into my piping bag. I try to fit it all. I know it looks a little crazy at first, but And pull up there and then add the rest. All right, time to pipe. We're just gonna go into circles and kind of go up a little bit. And I'm gonna do about 16 to 20 of these cream puffs. Looks like I'm gonna be able to fit about 12 on this parchment. Now you can take your finger, a wet finger, and just kind of dab the top if you want to do that. We're gonna bake them high temperature for the first 20 minutes, and then we decrease it a little bit and help them dry out. So we want to get that heat so that they rise up and puff up, because that's the fun of the cream puff, but then we also want them to dry out a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick them in the oven. While my cream puffs are baking, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up the whipped cream that I like to put in the middle of these. It's just a super simple, heavy whipping cream, a little bit of vanilla. If you have vanilla bean paste, use it. And then like 5 to 10 grams of sugar. You can increase or decrease the sugar based on how much sugar you like in the cream puff filling. I like just a hint of sweetness. I've also added like a lemon zest to this. Delicious. If you wanted to stabilize the whipped cream, you could add a little cream cheese to it. We're gonna whip it up. That is perfect. All right. I'm gonna add my whipped cream into this bag. So we're all ready to pipe when the cream puffs are out of the oven and have cooled down. After your cream puffs have cooled completely, you can go ahead and slice them open. Be gentle with them, but see that beautiful inside? That's where we're gonna pipe the cream and then put the little hat on top. How cute is that? I love these with a little bit of chocolate on top, and I love them just like this. I'm gonna actually sprinkle a little powdered sugar on top, and then these are perfect, ready to serve. What do you think? Do you think you could make these? I totally think that you could make them. They are a little bit different of a process maybe than you may be used to, but they're absolutely delicious. I love filling these with chicken salad even. I love filling them with the whipped cream, added drizzle of chocolate on top. Seriously, there's so many opportunities with this cream puff, and you can even add like a raspberry inside or some kind of fruit. The possibilities are literally endless with this, and if you are somebody that loves having like a fully fermented option, this one's for you. Oh, oh wow, this is so good. You gotta make this.